So before we talk about anything, Mouse Sports has done something really interesting with their logo here. They've actually put their sponsors on it, and what's more impressive is that it's actually readable. It's not scrunched up and so small that you can't tell that BenQ, XMG, and Epic Gear are their sponsors. Just a little bit of shout out to them. Anyways, guys, this is the last match, the last best of 5 to be played out today in the Kaspersky King of the Hill Arena. There was €1,000 in today's prize pool, and this last round, this last best of 5 is worth 400. I'm Rifkin, joined today by Zombie Grub. And without further ado, in the top right corner of the map, he's your Red Terran player, the youngest, the best player known as Heromarine.
In the bottom left, is the blue Protoss. It is Grubby.
And I probably shouldn't have said best player, but best Terran player. He's a pretty big badass right now. I think this is also the first series today where both teams have had a little bit of a logo thing around the command centers. Kind of cute, kind of neat. I kind of feel that, like, these are really awesome things Blizzard are adding in, but I feel like they look at GameHeart and be like, oh, they're gonna add this? That seems like a cool idea. Let's jump on that. Like, the option to have like all these things tied into it. Because I mean, what was it? GameHeart had the zoom out, and then Blizzard implemented the zoom out. GameHeart had like the different map things, which then the map mods are now introduced, and now with the announcement of their recent logos. Again, I'm not trying to down talk Blizzard. It's just funny how they're always like trying to get ahead, but always behind in the idea department. No comment? Okay, well, in this series, Heromarine is, at least going off of our poll here in chat, the underdog, but not by much. 41% of you voting for Heromarine. We got 59% in the favor of Grubby, but Grubby's shown us they can do some really cool things. Do you think we're going to see anything too crazy, or do you think we'll go stick with the Phoenixes that have just been winning him European Terrans left and right?
I think he'll try it for the first game. I'm not sure that he's gonna like be so stubborn as to do it all the time, though. Like, it's not a series plan.
Yeah, I'll give that up to Grubby. I've never really seen him stick with a strategy that doesn't work. I haven't cast exactly thousands of Grubby games, but from watching his stream too, he's not a player who gets caught in that, like, okay, well, Phoenix didn't work this game, I'll just try it again next game situation.
Yeah. Well, I wonder if he's gonna do a proxy Oracle. That was the first thing we saw out of him in the last series. And it worked out. Wait, did it work out well?
It did. Well, I mean, it really was like, didn't get the damage done, but it was kind of like surprise them in your base. You weren't ready for it. Got 4 workers like right off the bat, and I don't know. It's a huge diversionary tactic always to have that Oracle out, but Mothership Core spawns just in the nick of time for that Reaper. I don't know. I guess it depends on your definition of success. In my eyes, if a player can get any amount of worker kills and keep the Oracle alive, I think it was a successful Oracle, because then the threat is there, it's been established, and you can't really ignore your mineral lines, combined with the fact that you can always tag things with Revelation. But if it dies, then it's like, I don't know. It doesn't matter if you got 11 worker kills, the threat's gone.
And it was on 2 base too. Like, it wasn't like 1 base this has to do damage, so I can agree with that. It's going to be a Robo, though, from Grubby. The Reaper did not see it, I believe. No, it did not. So we want to go back in there and confirm that, because, you know, right now he's probably, thinking, what can we be doing? Blink's not terrible on this map either. God, there's so many maps where it's good.
Yeah, it's always a threat. Like, this is the problem for a lot of Terran players right now, where I kind of fear, like, a lot of people talk about balance, and it's nothing to do with balance. It's more about, like, what the options available to you are. And you can hold off Blink, you can hold off Oracle. The problem is, it's very difficult to figure out what's coming in the correct amount of time to respond to it. I mean, you can read a Protoss player's build and kind of know who they are, because Grubby might be known for doing this versus that. But if you're not, like, confident that it's going to be Oracles and you make the wrong units, suddenly Blink all and wrecks you.
Yeah. Oh, the Reaper does go ahead and scout everything. Oh, double forge as well.
I don't know. It's kind of scary knowing that double upgrades will be on the way, but it's nice knowing that that's a lot of resources that won't be devoted towards defense or offense for the time being. So this small push it's going to force that the overcharge, but there's no army to really stop it.
Yeah. I really like pushes like this. It actually works really well against like Oracle openers, especially because they usually don't have a lot of ground army. But as we can see, there's not a lot of ground army anyways, because well, he did go for double forge as well. So This could do some damage. At the very least, take out maybe a stalker. It's gonna pop the overcharge, that's for sure.
It needs to pop the overcharge. Yeah, Reaper gets to the main.
Yeah, it needs to. There you go.
If it wasn't like, kind of like an A move Reaper, he could have definitely tried to pick off a couple of probes with it. Won't quite get that one. Marauder goes down. A little unfortunate too. That kind of kills the pushing power of Heromarine, but yeah, the Reaper's still alive. Can try and leave. Maybe. Nope. Never mind. It's dead. Just like skid marks right off the cliff too.
I don't think Heromarine really has to go back home necessarily, but that is what he decides to do. And of course, when the medevacs pop out, he'll be returning. I really like it because it does put a lot of pressure on them. Like, they went double forge, so like they're not gonna have the fastest Colossus or fastest tier 3 anything. So you can probably stay around and just make them really afraid. Like, are they gonna poke in? Do I have to pop a second overcharge? Like, God forbid, because I'm not gonna have any defense against the medevacs. But he's pushing out immediately right now. So he's gonna pair up just about in time with the medevacs. So he will be able to scare Grubby a little bit before he can start actually doing damage.
The Sentry's gonna limit the surface area. Might catch a couple Marines. Like, you never really see Sentries catch units in a net like you do versus Zerg, but it will make it very awkward to run away. Picks off one of the stalkers immediately though. Very powerful. Hi, how are you? Give him one of those firm handshakes. Coming back again with some poking. Trying to bait out the overcharge, but of course Grubby's he really doesn't want to have to waste another overcharge if he doesn't have to. It looks like he will actually just get to save it for round 2.
Combat shows isn't quite done, but I mean, obviously it always helps, right? More health is better.
Yeah.
He has such a big army right now compared to what Grubby has, that it's really not about Marines tanking damage. It's about them, being at 2 places at once and dealing a lot of damage.
Yeah, I'm wondering how much he's planning to devote into the drop too. I mean, the thing for Grubby, of course, is he's got that second overcharge almost saved up for the energy, so he could technically overcharge both Nexuses and be fine.
Does he have buff for both?
Almost. He didn't have to force out that second one, so he's about halfway to the other. Fight along the ramp here could be a little bit odd. Stalker's still a little bit exposed. The Immortal's going to be fantastic for this, but as we see, the drop has been successfully thwarted off. This one, Marauder, it's kind of like Black Hawk down, saving Private Ryan. I don't know. It's going to die over there.
Immortal 2 shots it immediately. It goes back in. He's trying to get something done. Force fields do go down.
Gets the Immortal.
Immortal
Yeah.
Has to run away. The second Immortal. I mean, it probably didn't save him, but it was definitely helping.
I like this Warp Prism setup for Grubby, though. He knows the pressure's being laid on thick at his front door, and he can't do too much to break it right now, so he's just going to go offensive with this. And Heromarine doesn't have like 11 barracks down. He doesn't have a ton of reactors on. Dealing with this Warp in is actually going to be incredibly difficult. He may, in fact, even need to pull his army back, because what he has at home is a small handful of units, but still, a large Warp in of Zealots might be too problematic to clean up easily.
Yeah. Well, I like the aggression that Heromarines been putting on so far. I think it's already different than the last games that we saw, the last PVTs. They has to worry a little bit, rather than just deflecting something, meaningless and then continuing on with whatever he wants. He still has, really good situation here with the double forge, as well as a very good defense as a cannon, and the front, of course, as well.
Drop on the main coming down. Ghost Academy on the way. It's also been revealed, so Grubby now knows the exact timing of that, but as I said before, dealing with his drop is not going to be the easiest thing. I mean, he is going to clean this up, but as we see, lots of SCVs have gone down while this happened. In fact, 11 killed in total. And that also breaks the contain for Grubby, so pushing out on the map just a little bit, trying to really assert his dominance in this position. But without a lot of area of effect, honestly, if Heromarine just pulled workers, he could probably break Grubby so hardcore. Without Colossus and without Templar, it's always a big concern that you do have to look out for.
Yeah. It's definitely fallen out of favor, so no longer are people trying to replicate that, the SCV timings that are perfect, and they're just not trying at all. But you're right, like with just gateways, it would have been probably very effective. Storm is going to be on the way, but it's actually still a ways away. Is the Templar Archives? Wait, that's a second Templar Archives.
Is it?
What was I good? What?
Yeah. Definitely either a misclick or perhaps really worried about losing one early. I don't know. But Time Warp, as well as a couple of good force fields, will lock a lot of this army in place, but not all afraid to grab and pick up. Heromarine evacuates a lot of those units out. A couple Zealots going to go down on the retreat away. Okay, that one Zealot should have died. Mothership Core has 8 health on it. Double Time Warps have been exhausted. That means no foot on overcharge to worry about. Looking to push in here a little bit. Again, without that area of effect damage, there's some Archons coming in, but more out of desperation than anything else.
I like that drop. Does meet a few zealots, but otherwise it gets down nice and easy. Gets it out of the way of the time warps as well, though they did disappear shortly after this. Gonna try and target on the Archons could be really, really good. I mean, that's really the only anti-air, and then they're probably not gonna reach the medevacs anyways.
The Stalker was actually so busy shooting the factory they couldn't get over to the medevacs in time. That's actually kind of a nice use of the factory, not just a scouting, but an actual diversionary building. Okay, I got a question for you. Even though it's mathematically impossible, do you ever watch someone like Heromarine play and go like, wow, it just feels like his Marines and Marauders hit harder than mine do? Like, why do I not kill Archons that fast type of thing?
I think everyone's had that. You know, remember when Life had really, really great lings?
You're just like, wow, those are supposed to be weak,
life
useless units. Yeah, exactly.
Yep.
But okay, Pilots try to warp in at the fourth or third base of Heromarine while this happened, but they already cleaned that up, so no real issue there. Third base from Grubby is going to go down here without a... well, actually, I was going to say without resistance, but these medevacs are not exactly as free as they were before. There's a lot of stalkers with the army this time, but still finding a nice clump, a nice ball, picks up and just lifts up. And with that, Heromarine causing quite a bit of damage here to Grubby.
Yeah. The upgrades are getting a little scary, though. Level 3 is about to finish, you know, for Grubby. Well, Heromarine going to be still working on his armor at the very least. He's still, like, there's not a whole lot of splash. There is one High Templar. There are 2 more catching up. Well, they don't quite have storm energy yet.
Well, medevac gets picked off by that really aggressive blink. Once the storm's been dealt with, and actually, giving chase now, Grubby in full retreat. He's realized maybe I'm a little more overextended than I thought I was. Another, those are actually really good storms. That takes out so much of the bio, but still not enough. Archon gonna come in and will be killed probably before it finishes. Trying to catch the Templar, realizing those are high priority targets. We'll get that as well as the sentries to boot. And that third base from Grubby is being remade, but Heromarine might not even go for it. Nope, no, I will decide to take out the free base instead of pushing to the natural. Grubby, not in a good spot by any means, guys. His army value is just in the gutter. It's not even about the overall supply. He just doesn't have units to fight with right now. There's already ghosts out, so the counter to the units that Grubby has is already on his doorstep. The best thing he had going for him in this game were those drops, but those have kind of ceased to happen for now. I think the Warp Prism was picked off at some point, so trying once again to reestablish the third, knowing how important this is. I understand why he's not taking the northern one. There's always the threat of that cliff, but double expanding this time says, all right, if I lose one, maybe I'll have the other to fall back on.
Not something you usually see from a Protoss player.
No, that's like Zerg tactics, man.
Same concept, I suppose. His army is, you know, it doesn't have a lot of splash, but with 3-3, it's a little scary. 3 weapons is about to finish for Heromarine, though. Ghosts come forward. Oh, EMPs, all of the storms. And that could be game for Grubby.
Yeah, a couple snipes even going off here, too. Fighting within the Time Warp doesn't give a good gosh darn, and you're right, this looks to be game. Good game is called. And Heromarine will start this series off 1-0.